Hello, friends. This is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. I'm excited to be here with you today. We are going to be using prickly pear stamps. I've got this really cute little farm truck stamp, and then there's some banner stamps. All of the products I'm using today are going to be linked below the video. There's a link that says measurements and supplies, and then there's like a link next to it. And it's in the description box of the video. So if you click on that, you will be able to access the supply list. Okay, here I generally would keep this off video and not film this part, but I decided to film this for you so you could see part of my creative process. So here I'm drawing out a card front. It's 4 by 5 1/4. I wanted to make a 1-layer scene card, but I'm not like a pro that does this all of the time, or let me see, how do I say this? I don't want to disparage where I'm at because I feel like I've made a lot of progress. However, I have a lot to learn. And so basically I have to think through processes. And I'll be honest, I think that even people who do this all the time, who are really, really, really good at it, have to think through processes. Like, I don't think it's just me. So here, what I did is I grabbed the die that you can get to go with this stamp set, and I started placing it in the area where I would want the truck to be. I wanted the truck to seem as though it was driving into a sunset. The way the card came out, it almost looks like a sunrise, but who cares? 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. You know what I'm saying? So here I just outlined my truck and I drew my road. So from the limited amount of skills I have in drawing and designing anything, and they are very limited. All I've done is take classes to like learn a few things, but y'all, I need some more, trust me. I know that whatever is larger on an image is going to look bigger, or like it's in the foreground, and whatever smaller is going to look in the background. So when I started designing this, I really wanted to create this really cool, like fall feeling card. And I feel like I kind of did, but not quite as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. Like I said, we're learning here. We're learning together. So here I started to draw out those hay bales at the bottom. And you know what I realized? I was like, that's not going to work because those hay bales are teeny tiny. So they need to go in the background. They need to be further away because my road comes out at an angle and gets wider as it gets closer to the bottom of the card, which gives the optical illusion that the truck is driving away from us into the distance. Then I added like a edge or a line, a border, if you will, on the sides of the truck, because I wanted it to look like the truck was like driving into a field or like where there was hay. And I ended up deciding to remove the little hills that I drew and put the hay bales here on the sides, and then create just a beautiful kind of like sunset look for the top of the card. So this is kind of where the concept came from and how I came up with it. Now, really quick, before we get too much further into this, I want to share a couple of things with you. One, the prickly pear is going to be in Mesa, Arizona at the stamp show there. It's on November 5th and 6th. So if that is something that would interest you, you can go there and see them and meet them, and the owner's name is Joy. And then I will be at the Scrapbook Expo in Sacramento, California on October 13th and 14th for the Rabbit Hole Designs. So if you want to come see me, I will be teaching you how to do your make and take at the Rabbit Hole Designs table. So if you want to come hang out and see me, that is something that I volunteered to do, and I'm really excited about it. So you can come there and say hello. Okay, and then the other thing is, I want to make sure I tell you all the prickly pear things. They do have a release coming out in January of new goodies. There is a $3 digital penguin stamp on their site right now. So there's lots of fun stuff going on. make sure to check out their site. Joy just purchased the prickly pear, and she's working hard to get it off the ground and keep it going and make it a really amazing, awesome stamp company. And it will be, because there's so many cute things like this truck. So this truck is one of my very, very favorite products. They have it in Christmas, and then they have it in like this one that was like farm. It's got all the farm animals, and it's just to die for cute. I mean, I love it so much. I have lots of ideas on how you can use this stamp set, and we'll probably get into those in the future. Okay, so I am stamping my image in Hero Arts Intensified black ink, and then I'm stamping it on Stampin' Up! Masking paper, and I'm going to cut out this piece to mask over. Now, for masking, I generally use masking paper for lots and lots of ink blending, and I'm going to just talk to you real talk here for a second, because you know how I do. I always come at you with the truth. I do not like Stampin' Up's masking paper. Why? Because when I ink blend over it, now maybe this is true of all masking paper. I don't know, because I've only ever used theirs, which is about to change, because I'm going to try some other masking papers, and I'm going to let you know which one's my favorite. But every single time I ink blend over the top of Stampin' Up masking paper, it sticks to my cardstock. And on 2 different occasions now, it didn't happen on this card because I was super careful, but on 2 different occasions when I've been pulling it up, even though I'm pulling it up gingerly, it tears the cardstock underneath. And I'm going to tell you right now, it makes me madder than a peed on chicken. Like, I lose it. So when you've worked super hard to go to all the trouble of stamping, masking, ink blending, and then you pull up your masking and it tears your cardstock where you've stamped, whoo, son, I'm telling you what, ooh-wee, I come unstuck. So I probably need to work on that. Probably should talk to my therapist about that, but I'm just saying, it's one of those things that makes me want to put a fist through a wall, okay? So I'm over it. Like, I can't even tell you how many packs of Stampin' Up! Masking paper I have, but I'm about over it. So I am going to try Altenew. I think Simon Says Stamp has one. I already put in an order for Altenew. If you have a go-to masking paper that works great for you, please share. Please share. Only if you do ink blending. Because if I just masked this and like did some stamping and pulled it up, it doesn't do that. It's only when I do ink blending and it like saturates the paper, then I have that issue. And like I said, maybe all masking paper does that. Maybe it's not just this, but I have to believe that there's one out there that doesn't do that. Just saying. Okay, so I fussy cut this out. I'm peeling off all the bits and pieces, and see, I even stuck it on my hand, like to try to get it a little bit less sticky, because I didn't want that to happen. And I do think that that helped some, but I shouldn't have to go to a whole bunch of shenanigans to get it to work. You know what I'm saying? So I've got my little, hay bales here, straw bales. They're not hay, they're straw. Well, they could be hay, but I'm coloring them like straw, so that's what they are. And I'm going to stamp them. So I had to mask the truck first. So here's your masking tip, and I shared this many times, but I'm going to share it again. In order to, whatever you want to appear in the front of something has to be stamped first. So you can't, like, I couldn't have stamped the straw bales and then stamped the truck on top of it, because then you would see the straw bales through the truck. So the order in which you stamp is really important. And doing a little diagram like I did on my little grid paper will help you figure that process out. What I used to do, and I've done, and I still would do if I had tons of masking. This one's pretty simple, but if you have lots and lots of masking, what you can do is kind of like draw it out on a diagram and then take a highlighter and write a number on each item you're going to stamp. So like I could put a number 1 on the truck on my little diagram, which would indicate that I need to stamp my truck first. Then I would do like a number 2 on my straw bales. And then if I had something else that I wanted to appear behind the straw bales, I could stamp those like number those like number 3. So then you have a diagram to refer back to when you're doing the stamping. Because if you're doing a lot of masking, it can get a little overwhelming and it can get a little confusing. So here's my suggestion if you're brand new to masking. If you're brand new to masking and making 1-layer scene cards, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just do 1 layer like I'm doing here. So what that means is stamp an image and then mask it and then pick an image that you want to appear behind it and stamp that, and that's it. Don't start out the gate trying to make it super complicated and stamping a whole bunch of stuff. Really quick to the card here. Now, I did not mask my bottom straw bales because this straw bale is just going to sit directly on top of the other 2. So there was no need to mask them. However, I will still have to mask them because I'm going to ink blend. So you want to mask anything that you're going to ink blend. It needs to be covered with masking paper, okay? So I got everything stamped. And by the way, this is a mini Misty. You guys see me use the black Misty a lot, but the mini Misty is super, super handy, especially for videos. And I've got 3 Misties. Yes, I do. And so, you know, I just grab whatever seems like it's going to work best for me at the moment. And yeah, the mini works great. So I'm stamping here all my straw bales, and then I'm just going to fussy cut those out, and I masked it. And then I'm going to use Concord and 9th ink today. I'm using spice cider, honeysuckle, clementine, and honeycomb. And I'm going to ink blend from light to dark, and then we're going to add that pink in as we go dark. So we're starting with the honeycomb and just ink blending, and I'm using Stampin' Up! Blending brushes. And then we're going to go into the clementine, and then into the honeysuckle, and then into the spice cider. There is no particular reason I chose to use Concord and 9th ink today, except that I haven't used it very much. I've been sticking to my Stampin' Up! Inks, and I'm trying to branch out and learn about different inks, see how they work, and I can't do that if I don't use them. So I was like, you really need to bust those out and use them. You did pay for them. So they worked beautifully. And I would say that Concord and 9th inks are the most comparable. Now, let me say, I don't have any other ink pads. I shouldn't say. So I've tried Simon Says Stamp ink pads. I had 1. I tried Distress ink. I had 1 of those. What I have learned is Distress ink is really only, like, I shouldn't say it's only good, but by the way, this is a Hero Arts mask, and if you don't have this mask, you need it in your life. You need it in your life. I'm not kidding you. It is the best thing, and the thing I'm ink blending on is the Altenew Sticky Mat. Now, because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'm not an affiliate to any of these companies. I don't make $1 off of any of them. None. $0. So when I share with you like what I like and what I don't like, you better bet, sister, I'm telling you the truth, because I don't profit from it at all, except that, I mean, you watch my YouTube videos, so there's that. Like, but other than that, I don't make any money off you purchasing any of the products from any of the companies I share, except for Misty. My Sweet Petunia, I do make a commission, or not a commission, an affiliate off of them. It doesn't cost you any extra, but I just want to clarify that. And I will link to the video here if you have questions about me being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and using other products, because that seems to be the most popular question I get. So, oh, for God's sake, I went backwards. I just put this part of the video second and the ink blending part before it. Well, There you go, people. That's how I set it up. Okay, I just got a little piece of video out of order there. So now I want to make a road, and I want it to mimic what I had over on my little diagram I drew. And I still have my truck masked off, so I'm not going to be ink blending on my truck. And I'm going to use cobblestone and pebble for my colors. And I'm going to ink blend in pebble, I think it is. Or I can't remember. Yes, pebble. I'm going to ink blend in pebble. And then I'm going to come in with one of the Rabbit Hole Designs little blending brushes. They're like itty bitty blending brushes. And instead of blending, I'm actually going to dab, because I want to create a texture. I wanted it to look a little bit like a stone or gravel kind of driveway. And I wouldn't say I killed it. I tried. But what I did here, see, if I would have stopped here, it would have just looked like a bunch of circles. So one of the things I have learned from watching videos is just keep going. So I was like, okay, right now I don't like the way this looks, but I'm just going to keep building on it. I'm just going to keep going, and I'll see what happens. And I ended up really liking it. And I tried to make it darker underneath the truck. And yeah, I ended up really liking it. So I'm just going up and down, up and down, up and down really, really fast. And look, it looks really good. So I feel like it turned out good. And then we're going to add a bunch of other stuff. So, it all turns out great in the end. So here now I need to mask off the road, because now I want to ink blend the sides of the road. And so for that, I'm using artichoke, and I haven't learned all the colors yet. I need to see it on the screen. Lemongrass? I think it's lemongrass. Lemongrass and artichoke. So I'm going to start out by adding, like, ink blending down some lemongrass, and then I'll come in with the artichoke. And I came in way too dark with the artichoke, totally on accident. So when you're ink blending, like here, this ink blending is super messy and blotchy because I know I'm going to go back over it. Oh, avocado. That's what I used. I used avocado. So I know that I'm going to go back over this with the artichoke. So I didn't care that it was like messy on the sides, and look what I did. Dang it. I was so mad. So I just went in way too hard and heavy. And so then I was like, well, I'm committed now. So I had to do it on the other side. So here I'm just trying to make this just look uneven. I don't want it to look super even, and how do I describe this? I wanted it to be textured, and I wanted it to look like bushes or grass or hills. And I even overlapped over the edge of the road, because naturally that is how it would look. You wouldn't have like this perfect edge, to your road, unless you sprayed weed killer or something, which don't do that because it's poisonous. So bad for the earth, people. So I'm removing all my masks now. Now these first ones go okay. See, like I'm like, okay, these are going okay, and they're not bad. Of course, they weren't ink blended over quite as much as the truck, but overall, removing these masks went okay on this card because I was super, super slow and diligent peeling it up. And I think a part of what helped is that I stuck it to my hand before I stuck it down to the card base. So I think that made a huge difference. So now we are going to remove the masks, and then we are going to color. And then we're going to add our sentiment. Oh, we're also going to stamp the cutest little dog and kitty cat in the window, which is the best part of the whole card. So you can see how much I'm struggling here, because I'm like, if this tears, I'm going to throw my entire stamp table out of this room. Like I did not want to lose my mind. So I was super gentle and careful with the whole thing. And I just don't think you should have to be that careful. Like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, I digress. We won't get back into it. Soapbox away. I have a whole laundry list of story time things to share with you guys, which is, for some of you, probably the only reason you're here. And for some of you, you're probably like, what is story time if you're new here? So I have always shared on my YouTube channel about my life and what's going on, and kind of, you could think of it like as card making and vlogging at the same time. It's not everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people don't like it. That's okay. It just might not be the channel for you. I have noticed that I have some new subscribers coming and joining us, which I want to just comment and say I'm so super grateful for. Thank you for being here. And thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me, because I know how valuable your time is. And the fact that anybody watches my videos at all and takes the time to comment and just be here, like, is one of the most amazing things to me. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, so in the window, I needed to color yellow because obviously you can see through the window and we're driving into a sunset. So that's why I did that. I used Y15 and Y18, and look at me being a good girl. I wrote down my Copic colors that I used. So I'm using B24, 26, 28, and 29 for the truck. And I'm going to tell you why I picked blue for the truck. Let me just tell you. And we're going to get into story time. So I was looking at the truck, and trucks like this in my mind are always red or green. Okay? I don't know why. They just are. And so I'm looking at the truck and I'm like, red and green, red or green, neither one's going to work very well for the color palette that I have going on. Like, it's just not going to look good. And then this little voice popped into my head, a little voice you may know. Her name is Kelly Taylor, and she says that blue is a neutral and goes with anything. By God, she might be right. So blue is her favorite color, and she always says blue is her boyfriend. If you're not familiar with Kelly Taylor, I will link to her YouTube channel below. She does stuff a lot like I do. She does story time, which is why I fell in love with her, actually, is because I had been doing story time on my channel, and then I found her and she did story time, and I was like, oh my God, I'm home. This is my person. And it turns out we have a friendship. Like, we began becoming friends, and I really adore her. I think she's a fabulous person. So anyway, all of that is to say, she says blue is my boyfriend all of the time, and that blue is a neutral. And so I thought, oh, blue. And wouldn't you look at it? It's perfect. It is the perfect color. If I would have colored this truck any other color, it would not have looked this good. She's right. Dang it. I can't believe it. So, I mean, I love blue too, but I don't think I have the love affair going on with it that she does. So, anyway, we're just going to go in, ink blend, shade. We're adding darker in some areas, lighter in some. I'll be honest, no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going for it. I didn't really know where to shade exactly on this truck. I just went with my gut, and it turned out okay. So there's that. Like, just because it looks like I know what I'm doing doesn't mean that I do. Sometimes you just go with it and go, okay, well, I'm going to try this and I'm going to do this. And if it works, it works. Great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Lesson learned. So that's what I did. I just kind of went for it. All right. We're going to run out of time. And I know it's like 24 minutes in. So, let's see. I have a whole list of story time things to share with you because I've been writing them down so I don't forget. Let's talk about the chiropractor. I went to the chiropractor for the first time, and I've never done that because if you've been around here for a long time, you already know I have a spinal fusion from T12 to L2. And so I've never gone to a chiropractor because it frankly always scared me to death. But I know that I have issues and I've got some nerve stuff. And so I started a new exercise program with my friend Erin, who is like the most amazing. hook up with her virtually, by the way. First of all, she's inexpensive. Second of all, she's incredible. And she's helping me gain strength and mobility so that I can be an old lady and chase my grandkids. Okay, that is literally my focus. I think about the future and I want to be mobile and I want to be active and I do not want to seize up and be in a chair my whole life. So I started a new exercise program that is a very basic and a very small starting out point for me, because I have to start small because of my injuries. I started going to the chiropractor. I've only been once because it turns out he hasn't been on vacation in like 16 years and he took a vacation. So I've had one adjustment, but y'all, he did a bunch of evaluation stuff first. Then he put me on the table and he cracked the top of my back in between like my shoulder blades. And I swear you probably could have heard it to China. It popped so loud and it was instant relief. Instant. I was like, I didn't even realize how locked up the top of my back was. I mean, I knew it hurt and it was uncomfortable, but I had no idea how bad it was. And he said to me, it's really good that I came in because people who have had spinal fusions often end up with a second fusion, either above or below the one they have as they age, because the fusion wears out the rest of your vertebrae above and below because it's working overtime. So I could go on and on and on about all of this, but it's fairly boring, so I'm not going to. Bottom line is I'm trying to work towards getting healthier in my muscular and skeletal system because I eat darn near pretty healthy and I take good care of myself. So my two focuses right now for my health and wellness are meditating, getting good sleep, and taking care of my back and like exercising and everything. And I've been walking. I feel so good. Like physically, I feel better than I have felt in a really long time. And that's been really nice. So, they say if you're in pain, don't just keep sitting to avoid more pain. Like you have to do something about it to feel better. So here I'm just going in and stamping that sentiment, happy fall. And this card's almost finished. I think it turned out fabulous, you guys. I'm honestly really in love with it. I think it's beautiful and I'm really proud of it. So I'm going to wait until you see when I mat it on black. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to do. So anyway, that's what's going on there. Chiropractor, exercising, walking, just overall trying to get healthier within my body and mind. And then, what else? Let's see. I only have like one more minute. Why is story time never long enough? Grr. Yeah, I'm not going to get into anything else because I won't be able to finish. And that makes you guys mad. It really makes you mad. So I will not do that to you. But look at when I add the black mat, holy Moses. It just like pulls the entire scene together. And this card's finished. I didn't even add embellishments because I just felt like it didn't need them. I was very happy with how this card turned out. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to give it away. I may have to just keep it forever and ever. Amen. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. I really do appreciate that. If you need any Stampin' Up! Supplies, you can shop with me at shoploveandstampin.com. If you want any of the other products that I used today, you can purchase those through the links on my blog. Link is below the video. Bye-bye.